We are live. Welcome again to Empire State of Baseball. This is episode number 136, airing on X, Instagram, YouTube, and powered by StreamYard. Well, guys, it's August 11th of the year 2025. We are firmly in what they call the dog days of summer. And let me tell you something right now. When it comes to the New York Metropolitans and the New York Yankees both, we are in the dog days for sure, because these are two dog shit teams right now, to put it very, very lightly. Rich, I see you really shaking your head there. How are you feeling on this fine August night?
They're so fucking lucky right now that they're winning 3-0 off the strength of 3 solo home runs against a team, by the way, folks, paraphrasing a little bit, are 120 and about 45 against since 2002. I'm glad they finally realized that they're a team that actually can beat bad teams and win baseball games. This Yankees team...
Rich. We have a long way from winning this baseball game. Devin Williams,
you gotta get through your bullpen
any minute.
You're right. We still gotta get to a bullpen, and who the hell knows if that asshole comes out at the end of the fucking ninth inning. Joe, what do you got for us, man? How you feeling? Same response?
I'm wearing black because apparently we're in a Met and Yankee wake tonight. I mean,
we are.
It's been rough, and if it wasn't for such a beautiful weekend, like I'm thankful I didn't actually get to watch all that much baseball this past weekend because it was so nice out, and I spent a lot of time outside, and I spent a lot of time with Teddy outside, and it just it's been so miserable to watch these two teams, and for totally different reasons too. The Yankees have an ineptitude in the bullpen. They have an ineptitude on the basic fundamentals of the game of baseball. The Mets can't pitch in the starting rotation, and all these players the Mets are paying $500 billion freaking dollars to can't hit all of a sudden. So it's like two totally different reasons. Yeah. Between the two teams, you're basically seeing every possible way to lose a baseball game in the past month.
Oh, yep. I could not agree more. Like you said it best, go enjoy the weather while you can. While the weather's nice, from the misery that's the TV. Tom, how you doing tonight?
Kind of to add on to what Joe said. Now, listen, I love my children. I am thankful for them every day, but I'm especially thankful for them right now because the weekend when I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go do stuff with my kids. Also, I don't have to watch the Yankees. It's like a real win-win situation for me because boy, it's the fundamentals, and we're not breaking any news here. Yankee fundamentals are bad. More stuff has been coming out, more articles and podcasts about how they don't do the fundamentals right, and it's so frustrating to watch. It's just I could deal with a bad pitching at it. I could deal with maybe someone striking out too often. But when they just continue to make bad defensive plays, bad base running plays, bad situational baseball, it is so unappealing to watch. And my bigger concern is I just don't see an end in sight to that. But that's a different story.
You know what the
games? Go ahead, Joe.
I was gonna say, you know what the frustrating part for me as a Met fan, the problem is if you go and look back at all the games, the Mets are in every game until the end of the game. Right? Like they're in every single game. You look at the games they lost. They lost 7-6 the other day. They lost 7-4 when they scored 3 runs in the 8th inning. They lost 3-2. They lost 4-1, 3-2, 7-6, and 10. The Mets keep you in it because they're competitive in all these games. At least the Yankees, listen, not for nothing, you knew the Yankees were in for a long weekend when Altuve led off the game with a first pitch bomb. You knew that weekend was not destined to be on the Yankees side.
I didn't need to see Altuve hit the homer to know we're into a long weekend with Altuve.
No, but you know what I'm saying. You could have turned the game off right there. Last night, the Mets had a 5-0 lead through 5 innings, and then Manaea can't get out of the 5th. And then all of a sudden, the Mets are up 5-4 the entire freaking game. And then here comes Helsley. Helsley's a little bit wild. And instead of bringing in Diaz in the 8th inning, For a 4-out save, we let Helsley go. Boom, 6-6. I could have told you right then and there the game was over.
Where I was going.
But they dragged me to the 8th inning. That's the problem I got with the Mets. They dragged me from the back of a wagon for 8 innings.
Just to let you down.
We got to save a little bit of this because we have an Empire Express. We have a New York Strike Exchange. We have reasons. We have segments for us to really tap into this because there's a lot of bad going on between these two teams over the past, not even just the past week, but the past few weeks. The fact that I wrote in on the Empire Express where we usually update the standings, I think this was the first time I've ever not scratched in an extra win for a team. And yet the Mets were the same. We're in the same boat from last week when it came to the win column. It was fucking crazy. But all right, we're going to move on.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Let's get to comments, and we got to get to Tom for the rollback. Jacob Petruzzi goes, I'm smelling a Corey rant tonight. Corey, do you have him cooked up for us?
Oh, there might be something cooking. I got to see. I'm whipping something up.
Oh, boy. I can't wait. Mike Parziali, these teams are a mess, but ESP is always on point. Like and subscribe. I do appreciate that. And Jack Esposito, please tell us how to save the Mets in Yankee season. Not sure anyone has the answers, but you guys can try. And I don't even know if we have the answers, Jack. So you might as well hit the red button, red X in the corner of your right of your screen there. But we're going to try our best. Tom, let's try our best with a good rollback segment to start us off.
Yeah, I feel like the rollback segment doesn't deserve to be here for how bad these teams are and how bad they look because they're
going to pull the sponsorship. Better. That's how fucking bad we are. They're going to pull. They're going to pull the partnership.
Both teams would look a lot better if they're wearing some rollback. And listen, we've been talking about rollback all year, all last year too. I think it's been a nice long time here. They continue to come out with some great stuff. So 2 things I want to highlight for everyone. One, the early fall collection. So they got some new fall stuff coming out. Fall's just around the corner. That pumpkin spice latte is around the corner. So more fall colors, getting back into the hoodies, long sleeves, that kind of stuff. But also the game day collection, because sure as shit, none of these 2 teams are going to compete in the fall. So if you're a fan of college football, they got like 30, 40 of the biggest programs either signed on with some apparel or things coming soon. We're talking your Alabamas, your Auburns, Notre Dame, your Clemsons, your South Carolinas for Swift out there. Who else? Kansas. It's a ton of. If it's a big name college program, good chance to have some rollback out there.
UConn, is it UConn stuff with my boy Big Slick?
Yeah, sure. If you either went to one of those schools or you're just a fan of them, head over to rollback. Check out the college game day selection. Some items are still releasing later this month. But listen, if you go to any of these kind of big name schools, you got some really unique individual polos, hoodies, Q-zips. I'm on the Carolina one right now, that Carolina blue. I don't even like Carolina, but it looks so good. I'm just kind of tempted to want to purchase something there. Head over to rollback.com, promo code TWASP15, get yourself 15% off your order.
Listen, I echo everything Tom said. Rollback is great. It's phenomenal. It's absolutely awesome. The complete opposite of rollback right now is New York baseball, and we'll get more into that as we transition to the Empire Express momentarily. In addition, we're going to do a check-in on the ESB Fantasy Baseball season. It's been a little while since we last checked in. We'll see how the standings are shaking out. We'll talk a little bit about that more a little later in the show. New York Strike Exchange, everyone's favorite segment, Bulls and Bears, making its bi-weekly return tonight. So we'll take a look, see who the top 5, who the bottom 5 are. And I got to tell you what, we're going to get into this later. This might be the worst Bulls list in our 3-year history doing the New York Strike Exchange. Absolutely miserable. A lot of Bears, though. A lot of good Bears to choose from. We'll get into that tonight. In the returning game segment, Khore Kurriculum. Always a fun one. Great time. Our good friend Khore will come on down and blitz us with a bunch of questions. The standings could really shake up a bit after those outings.
Imagine Khore just comes on later and just starts firing on all cylinders when it comes to the Mets, like completely just unscripted, off the cuff. We're going to ask him later how he's feeling, and we'll get the best out of Khore later on tonight. But I guess let's kick things off with the New York Yankees here, Thomas. For the Yankees' sake, well, there you have it. Still in the middle of the pack of the East Division. Like I said, I'm about a week or so away from flipping that to an AL wildcard standings graphic instead, because at this rate, it's going to take the Yankees to be one of, if not the best team in the American League, if they have a snowball's chance in hell at being at the top of that American League East division there, Thomas.
Yeah, it sure would. Things are not looking good. Things have not been looking good for like 6 weeks now. This is, and how many summers have we been kind of going through this with this team? Said on top of the show, they're just kind of like unwatchable. They are fundamentally unsound. They're not getting, when they get the timely hits, then the pitching falls apart. Managerial decisions can be certainly questioned. There's not a lot of good to say about this team right now. I also stand by, I don't think the Blue Jays are that great. Now, do the Yankees have it in them to go and take it from them? But maybe not, probably not. But I don't think the Blue Jays are, uncatchable. And listen, the Yankees and frankly the Mets, we'll talk about them soon. Both teams have a lot of talent. We know they have a lot of talent. They're playing so poorly right now, and either team has the ability to start playing good baseball and catch fire, and it could happen. It's getting harder and harder. 6.5 back with basically 6.5 weeks kind of right to go. So you have to kind of pick up a game a week moving forward. Not off the top of my head, I don't know how many games we have with Toronto left. I imagine at least 3. I don't know if we have 6. But the way they're playing right now, they're going to be looking closer to using their consecutive seasons of winning records than they are of winning the AL East.
I played a game earlier today, Tom, where I looked at the remainder of the schedule and the way the math shook out. Actually, let me pull up that graphic one more time. So the Yankees sit at 62 wins. We can say if they hit the 90 win mark, that's probably, I'd say it's a comfortable spot to be in if you want to be a playoff team. For the Yankees to get there, the Yankees have to pull off 28 wins over the next month and a half. So again, it would be one of the, if not best record in the American League if the Yankees have, what was that?
How many games?
How many games in total? Well, let's do that math. We'll do it live here. 62 plus 56 is 118. 162 minus 118. This is brought to you by Texas Instruments. Subtract that. They have to go 28-16. It's 44 games.
Yeah.
They have to go 28-16 over that 44 game span. Now there's some games in there where there's series in there where they're facing the White Sox twice. They're facing the Orioles twice. They're facing the Twins again. Obviously, they got the 3 games set against the Twins now. But they have to be dominant against those teams. And guess what? I wish I could pull up the graphic for the future schedule. Obviously, we'll get there when we get a little bit closer. There's a stretch between the beginning of September and mid-September where they're playing the Astros, the Blue Jays, the Tigers, and the Red Sox all in a row. They are fucked. They are fucked. If they plan on starting something, they have to get going now. Because once they face that 12-game stretch, Thomas, I think it could be a fait accompli when it comes to the playoff chase for them.
It could be done before that. If they keep playing like
100%.
The way they are, and they keep losing if they keep losing every series that they're in, it'll be done before we get there, and that can maybe just be the true just cherry on the sundae of suck. It's just I don't know. It's like it's hard to even come up with words of how bad and just like lifeless they are. It's terrible.
The Judge injury is a big problem for them right now because he's back, but he does not look like himself. He does not look like the same player earlier in the season. So it's clearly bothering him. I don't know if he does play the field. I know he's going to try it. I know he's going to see how his arm feels. There's a chance he doesn't play the field. And the problem right now is the Yankee roster construction is a disaster because you basically have 4 DHs on the team. Rice is a borderline DH. Dominguez is a DH with how bad his fielding is. And Stanton and Judge are DHs at this point. And the problem is 2 of those guys at least are your best hitters, can't play at the same time. Judge can't be in the outfield. The guy has cinder blocks for feet. So like it's
he's in the outfield today.
Yeah, it's tough. And like even the guys, I think McMahon has been a positive. But that's kind of offset by the fact that Jazz has taken a plunge in the last month. And all of a sudden, Fried is looking like he's running on fumes all of a sudden.
Fried hasn't looked good since the blister situation, and I don't know if that's necessarily exactly still it. I don't know if that's still lingering, but he really hasn't been the same since that blister came out.
And it's weird when we thought of Fried and when we did our top 10 list and stuff. Fried's got some great numbers, and you always we're like, is he an ace? Is he just off of being an ace? And I'm curious. I got to go back and see. Does this happen often with Fried where he fades in the second half? I mean,
I think that's actually accurate. I think he does do poorly in the summer, the hotter months. I think he's also had blister issues, which would make sense with being sweatier and hotter in the summer.
I'm going to pull a sample from last year. Corey Favs, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, too, I mean, you're looking at the schedule, and Rich, you kind of alluded to it before, too. You look at a lot of these teams. I mean, you're playing the Twins. You're playing the Cardinals. I mean, tonight you're up 3-0 in the 5th inning. If you don't win tonight's game, I mean, there's going to be riots, and rightly so. You have to start winning these series. Take 2 of 3 versus the Twins. The Cardinals, okay, they're a game over 500, but they sold. They got rid of their closer at the deadline. That's a team, again, you have to go out there, win those series. You can't come out of this week and do our show next week where the Yankees have less than 3 wins. Less than 3 wins is completely unacceptable when you're playing these two teams and you're trying to make a case to go back to the World Series like you did last year. So they have to go out there and start winning series.
Yankees are going to have there'll be an interesting conversation in Yankee land in a couple weeks if this hasn't been turned around and Judge still doesn't look good, if they would consider shutting him down and just saying, listen, we're done. We can't risk you really getting hurt, and we might just need to shut you down, which would be, the true giving up, throwing in the towel in the season. But but by the time they get to that stretch that Rich mentioned in the beginning of September, if they're still far out and he doesn't look good, I think you have to highly consider that. You cannot allow him to really hurt that elbow.
I pulled this. Go ahead, Joe. You probably pulled the same.
I'm probably gonna steal your thunder. Statistically, Max Fried's worst month is the month of July. He's got over 4 ERA in his career in the month of July. August is his second worst month with 3.11 ERA, but still not that far off from his career norms in other months. So statistically, he does struggle a little bit more during the summer.
That's a little bit better than what I was probably going to pull up here. It is interesting. I think he must have had a mid-season injury because I only see 2 starts at the beginning of July.
He gets blisters. I think he constantly gets blisters, and you're going to get more blisters in the summer because you're sweating.
That's a shame too. Listen, that's completely.
You're going to have to find a way around that. Listen, but I'm just saying that I think that has happened to him multiple times.
First 16 last year, he had a 2.91 ERA, and that was across 96 innings. His second half, arguably second half, I went 13 games here where the stats started to trickle down. 3.68 ERA in 78 and a third innings pitched. So it's drop off, but it's not over dramatic. But to Joe's point, if there's a history of there being a mid-season struggle, then that would be it. I don't know if this is lingering straight from a blister for 5 starts. I think it's kind of wild that a blister would cause him to just all of a sudden not pitch the way he's pitching. Now, Tom, I wanted to address your Judge point because you're not alone in this. I do think that if we're in a situation where we're having this same conversation 2 weeks from now, and you're still in the same spot where you have to put Judge at DH, you got to spot Stanton here or there, right field or DH, depending on the day, then I would say you have to shut down Judge. Why risk having him in the lineup and exacerbate something that could be cured now, or at least something he can rest up until 2026. There's no point in trying to rush him back. It kind of gives me that reminder, even though it's a completely different injury, kind of gives me that reminder of 2023 when the Yankees still brought him back after the toe injury, when everybody was saying that his season might be done. They brought him back. He looked great. He played fantastic towards the tail end. He had 3-homer game in 2023. But what are you bringing him back for? Rest the guy. Give it a rest.
The toe is a broken toe that heals. And if that would have, re-injured, he'd have the offseason to be fine. His elbow, if something goes wrong there, he's going to miss time next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's
absolutely.
what you really got to consider.
It could be a precursor to a UCL. And I mean, luckily there hadn't been any UCL damage, at least sawn by the examiners. We don't know what the fuck they do anymore over on the Yankees.
These probably the same people who said Anthony Rizzo wasn't concussed for like 3 months.
That was, to me, that's always going to be my exhibit A to saying that was the most negligence when it came to Yankee medicals and what they did to Anthony Rizzo. Because we sat here as fans looking at Anthony Rizzo for 2 months after Tatis caused that injury. And we were sitting back here. It's like, this guy has to have a concussion. So he has to have some kind of post-concussion nonsense right now.
He had the Tweety birds around his head like Wiley Coyote.
The ball. He couldn't field the ball. What are we doing? Why is there such malpractice with this team over this last few years? Anthony Rizzo, honestly, if I'm Anthony Rizzo, and this is a whole other conversation. If I'm Anthony Rizzo, I'm suing the New York Yankees. Suing them. Absolutely. I know you're laughing there, Joe, but I'm suing.
How are we getting on the Anthony Rizzo big
the end of his playing career because they were negligent in the use of him. Negligent.
I agree. Listen, I mean, it's the same team. We said it with Stanton. Stanton was healthy going into the offseason. All of a sudden, he misses 3 months out of the year for tennis elbows. What were and they knew the problem existed in the playoffs. So what were they doing all offseason?
I don't know.
If I get a little conspiracy theory, I think they knew that all along, and their thought was we can get by without Stanton for a few months, which they did, and think like, all right, let's just bring him back mid-season. Let's keep him fresh. Let's keep him and get him hot for the playoffs. I think that was maybe more of their plan than they would let off.
I think the problem going into next year and going into this offseason is the Yankees desperately need an overhaul in roster construction. The team does not fit within itself. The pieces don't make sense. There are too many guys still playing out of position. Dominguez is playing out of position. Ben Rice is playing out of position. And you have too many guys taking up the same slots. Part of that is going to be solved with Goldschmidt leaving.
I remind you that Ben Rice is catching today. Like he has been getting reps behind the plate. And as of right now, it seems like he's been the go-to option now. His catching ERA is much lower than Austin Wells. Austin Wells has been a novice for this team. Novice.
Well, Wells's job is at risk. We know that.
I might throw something if I hear catcher ERA more also.
The other defensive metrics are not in favor of Rice.
Rice is also Bryce, because I think the pitcher has a lot more to do with the ERA than the catcher does. And the pitcher also has the ability now with pitch count to call his own pitches. So if any pitcher is blaming the catcher at this point, it's ludicrous.
Well, we'll have more on that. Let's get over to the Mets. Corey Favs, let's talk New York Mets baseball.
I mean, what's else there to say? A lot of what we talk about with the Yankees, we could talk about with the Mets. It's just a bunch of crap. And it's absolutely absurd. This time last week, I think they were a game and a half back. This time 2 weeks ago, they were a half game up. And most of the summer was the Mets and the Phillies kind of going within a game of each other. One team would go up a game, one team would go down a game, and you're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But the Mets right now, I mean, they're just losing game after game. They lost 7 straight. They're one of the 9 in their last 10. And all of a sudden, we're not even talking about NL East. Right now, we're talking about just holding on to a wild card spot. And that's what we were talking about a bit last week with the Yankees, when the Yankees were only about a game and a half up in wild card 3. Now the Mets are only a game and a half up in wild card 3 versus the Reds. And here we are sitting in August, seriously having to have a debate. Do we want the Phillies or the Reds to win this series? They're both playing each other tonight. The fact that we're possibly rooting for the Reds over the Phillies is absurd in August. But here we are because the Mets put themselves in this position. And it's not like the Cincinnati Reds are killing it. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Yeah, they had a few nice wins. But the Mets are 1-9 in their last 10. And they let the Reds catch up. Right now, you look at that game tonight. Phillies up 4-1. Cincinnati was actually winning that game in the 8th inning until the Phillies put up a 4 spot. Now it's top 9, 4-1 Phillies. Well, it's absolutely absurd. And the New York Metropolitans right now, again, it's the same shit each and every day on repeat. The starting pitching completely falls apart by the 4th inning. If they get into the 5th inning, it's a win. If they get into the 6th inning, play the lottery, because that ain't happening again. It's absolutely unbelievable. And then they finally have a chance to win the game. You finally have a chance with this new bullpen that you put together. Tyler Rogers almost gave it up, but he's a good pitcher. He induces ground balls. He got the inning and the play. Great. Then you get Helsley up. That's exactly the guy you want to set up Diaz in a one-run game, and he gives it up. And then Diaz hasn't pitched in about 25 years, finally gets into a game and gives up the home run right off the rip, a solo shot to win it. It's absolutely absurd. It's the same story. The offense not executing with runners in scoring position. When they finally do get offense, they actually had a little pop versus the Brewers this weekend. It didn't matter because the starting pitching is absolutely terrible. Ryan Stanek, what are we doing with Ryan Stanek in a 7th or 8th inning anymore in one-run ball games? Ryan Stanek should be in the game when you're down or up 8 runs in a blowout. You got all these arms in your bullpen. Use them. Don't use Ryan Stanek. Ryan Stanek might not have a job this time next week. They absolutely have to wake up. Enough of this nonsense, and you're finally starting to see some frustration from the players. I give Francisco Lindor credit for slamming his helmet on the bench and going crazy in the dugout the last game. I agree. You should be frustrated. All right? We shouldn't be singing My Girl in Citi Field. We should be singing Ave Maria because the season's about to be dead if they don't wake up.
Sing taps. If you can sing taps.
They still need the memes, Corey. They need those memes. They run on them.
Listen, I mean, the problems with this team right now are it's not a breakdown like the Yankees are having, where it's breakdowns in the field and all this stuff. We know the formula that's ailing the Mets right now. The starters aren't getting deep into games. The bullpen's overtaxed, and offensively, everyone minus Pete Alonso is underachieving this season.
That's exactly the Yankees' recipe for disaster. You literally just called it out. You said it.
Well, the Yankees are a disaster.
That's literally you literally named all 3 things running for the Yankees right now.
They're blowing games.
No, but it's different because it's the Mets, so it's not.
Forgot. Duh. Go ahead. Sorry.
The bottom line is, at some point, Lindor's underachieving this year. Soto's underachieving this year. Alonso's about where you want him to be overall. He had a great first half. He's cooled off a little bit. Nimmo's underachieving. Beatty, Mauricio, Vientos, Alvarez is now finally looking like the player he was, or we expected him to be. But outside of the 2 offensive players, everyone's underachieving. So at some point, in my opinion, if that's the case, and that's one of your biggest issues, aside from pitching aside, why isn't the hitting coach being called into question? Why isn't Eric Chavez being called into question? When you have offensive superstars having incredibly down years, there's a problem. There's a problem with the
Some would argue Soto's not having a down year.
Uh-huh.
This is Juan Soto. I think Juan Soto's numbers are a lot closer. He's not going to have the numbers he had in New York.
No.
The Yankees.
They're closer to the down year in San Diego.
Or in San Diego. And I think that could be who Juan Soto is. He is an on-base merchant, which is good. I'm not saying getting on base is bad, but this is kind of the guy he is.
Listen, and again, guys are entitled to have down years. He's not the first one to come to New York, come to the Mets specifically, and have a down year in his first year. Lindor did it. Piazza did it.
He's not having a down year, though.
Beltran did it. We could go down the laundry list of guys that have come here to the New York Mets and had a down year their first year. At the end of the day, you got a 15-year contract. It's not made in year 1. But that aside, it's the fact that every single one of these guys is having a down year.
Correct.
So at some point, the hitting coach has to be called into question. They're one of the worst teams against fastballs in the league, which should not happen with the caliber of offensive player that they have. They are late on fastballs. They've watched more fastballs down the middle than any team in baseball. Mm-hmm. And that was a stat that I saw from Fangraphs the other day. I couldn't believe it. But the fact of the matter is, that's a problem. And at some point, the hitting coach has to be called into question. Listen, the pitching isn't good. Senga's feeling it right now. Manaya's feeling it right now. Montas stinks. If I watch Montas start another game, I'm going to lose my mind. He thinks that was a terrible contract from day one. Holmes, it's almost not really Holmes' fault. He's at his innings limit. I mean, he's more than double his innings from last year. So,
but how could you have penciled him in to be a starter all year?
I understand that was their plan, and again,
I will argue that the rest of those guys also aren't very good.
Awful. He's been fine, all right, but at some point you can live with that if the other starters are doing their job. The fact of the matter is, none of the starters, besides David Peterson, none of the starters are doing their job.
Exactly. I don't understand. With the resources that Steve Cohen has, how did he not go and get a top-notch starting pitcher in the offseason?
Well, the question is, here's the question. Now we could
why didn't he give Max Fried $400 million?
We could play hindsight's 2020. All right, and aside from the Fried thing going to the Yankees,
Corbin Burns,
that deal was done the second the Juan Soto thing was announced. I mean, the Yankees had that in the chamber. The Mets were singularly focused on Juan Soto. If you sign Corbin Burns, you'd be screwed.
Correct.
You'd be screwed.
You don't know that.
Severino's got a 5 ERA in Sacramento. It's not like you made that big of a mistake letting Severino go and choosing Minaya. Manaya's been hurt. We're hoping that Minaya rounds into form. Remember, he doesn't have a spring training. He's only 5 starts in, so you can at least make the argument that Minaya is still getting into the swing of the season. But again, you're right. The Mets needed a reinforcement in the rotation. Now, the only place I think that's going to come is the kids, the farm. Mm-hmm. Is Nolan McLean and Brandon Sprout going to be the guys called upon in a few days? Because once it turns to 8-14, they don't lose a year of service time if they come up here.
And again, the Mets should be embarrassed by that. If they do that, they should be embarrassed.
Well, if Sprout and McLean, they're trying to get their major league pitchers right. But if they can't, they're going to call upon them, and they're going to that's their deadline.
I did find it interesting. Look at Friday's probable. I mean, it is currently not in there. That would have been Montez's spot. And I assume Montez is out of the rotation here for it.
It's a team that has more financial ability than anyone else with the but again, if they are playing service time.
Guys, we got
real quick, one closing Mets moment too. And Joe, you mentioned it with the pitchers. One mistake. I mean, Montez, you want to talk about the move that wasn't made. Jose Quintana pitched to a 3.5 ERA for you for 2 straight years, gave you a shutout versus Milwaukee in the NLDS, gave you a shutout versus Philadelphia in the NLCS, and the guy you could have got for a bag of balls. Instead, you decided to give Montas 2 years, almost $20 million per.
That's the mistake. Choosing Montas over Quintana was the mistake. That is the one I'll give him crap for. I'm not going to give him crap for the Holmes. Holmes to make $11 million. It's got 3.5 ERA. What are you going to do?
I do want to ask this. I know we have a lot of show to get to, but I would be doing us a disservice if I didn't actually answer the question that's in our title graphic. Who can save the 2025 season? Maybe it's one of these two guys dressed in capes here. But real quick, without getting into it, quick answer. Corey, I'll start with you. Is there someone or an internal change that can save this Mets season from this point on?
The Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, or whoever you believe in, too. No, I agree. It's one of the kids. It's Frodo McLean. I think they have to come up and stabilize the staff.
Joe,
I think it's Juan Soto. I think Juan Soto's got to be the player that you sign for $50 million a year.
Tom,
I mean, the answer is obviously Judge. So if we're going to go in a non-Judge category, give me a Paul Goldschmidt. Give me a veteran who could bring some fundamentals, some expertise, and could maybe just talk some sense into what's going on.
One of the biggest reasons for the Yankees' fall right now is their starting pitching. The fact that Will Warren is the first pitcher to exceed 6 innings pitched since July 30, which was also accomplished by Warren himself, tells you a lot right now what's going on. I'm not going to say one specific person. I mean, yes, it starts with your ace and Max Fried, and then it works its way down. I mean, Fried, Rodon, these guys have to lead a rotation right now because the Yankees are not getting it out of their starting staff. Again, with the exception of Warren, who's been fantastic for him in a little bit, but the starting rotation as a whole has to be the one to step up to save this season. Okay, we're going to move forward. Before we do that, let's get to a couple of comments. Jonathan, it's been a while, Jonathan. Who can save the season? 2005, Aaron Small. Yes, if we hopped in the time machine 20 years ago, we can pull out fucking Aaron Small.
Love those.
Aaron Rodgers. This show stinks, but not as bad as New York baseball. So there's Aaron, buddy. Top right corner. There's an X button. Click that. We'll see it. All right. Hitman.
Aaron,
Yo, what's good,
you know
ESB
what stinks, Aaron? The stench when you actually peel yourself off the couch. That's what stinks.
Yikes.
God, that's terrible. And then my guy Hector saying, watching the game. Hector, I would put that thing in fucking drive and take your TV out with you because it's not worth watching the baseball game right now because they stink. Okay, let's talk about Instagram. Corey Favs, what's going on with the gram, buddy? Besides you being on mute again.
Besides being on mute. That's what the Mets do to me. Listen, go ahead and follow us at Empire State of Baseball. You can find all our archived segments, our meme reels, graphics from the show. You name it, you'll find it there. We're at 7,500 followers and growing. So go ahead, give us a follow. And all of us individually, myself at Corey Favs, Joe at JR Pugs, Rich at J. Rivera, and Tom at T. Wospil.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is the IG. And we are live on it. We're trying to see the comments trickle in. But listen, if you're checking us out here on Instagram Live, jump on over to YouTube or even X too, because all the comments come through in the same stream. I'm always going to say YouTube first. Love Instagram for what it is, but as far as a live stream goes, Instagram sucks. So let's move over to our fantasy league and get into real quick with the updated standings. It's been a while. Last time we did this check-in was back all the way in June. So not much has really changed at the top. It's really been the core Chooch show. A lot of flipping done here by our own at ESB. That's Joe. No, I'm sorry. That's Corey, then Tom, then Joe. I always forget Joe is the number one Yankee hater. How can I forget? Then we have Sierra Keefe. Poor Josh and Chris have been in the bottom, and I'm all the way at the bottom because I do not care anymore, folks. I have less care for this than the Yankees playing baseball right now. But Corey Favs, as we're looking ahead, and this season's coming to an end. Are we looking at playoffs real soon, or is there even a playoffs?
Roto is a straight through. There's no playoff format. You grind it out to the last day of the season.
Look at that. Okay, well, let me ask the group here. I'm not going to answer the question because I'm a 10th. I have no shot here. But let me ask the rest of the room, Corey, Joe, Tom, is there somebody specifically on your fantasy baseball squad as it is that has to step up to give your team a fighting chance at winning this first year fantasy baseball championship? I don't know who wants to go first.
I think for my issue here has been pitching, and I'm going to make a case for a guy who needs to improve on the Mets too. It's Kodai Senga. The season started to fall apart when he hurt his hamstring in the middle of June. I need him to come back and be the Kodai Senga he was in the first half of the year.
Joe?
Yeah, I need let's go with Mike Trout. And Trout's had an okay year. I need a little bit of vintage Trout the second half of the season. He's got an 823 OPS. And it's one of the categories I can gain a couple points. I can bring it up a little bit. I got up to like 84.5 points the other day, and then I've fallen off the last couple of days. I need Trout to help my offense out. He would be a nice bonus if I could get some vintage Trout.
Thomas?
I got myself up to number 2 for a while. I've kind of free fallen for the past week. My pitching is the issue. You can see my offense basically is I have the best offense in the league, but my pitching stinks. So I really need that to get better. Being helped out a lot by young Will Warren today. So I'm getting a quality start, good ERA, good whip out of him. But I'll say it's a combo of getting Framber. A trio, Framber, Logan Gilbert, and Carlos Rodon. Those guys need to start pitching, kind of like the front end pitchers that they are to save my pitching numbers.
There you go. Tank here. Shout out to Tank in the room. Devers and Lindor, please, I beg of you. Shout out to Tank in the building. But yes, that's the latest and greatest on fantasy. Our next check-in will be our last one. We'll do our last check-in when we finish up this season. Right now, again, it's essentially a 2 or 3 legged race at the top here. Core and Chooch have really held on to those top 2 spots. So unless there's a miracle from one of the ESB guys here, it looks like it's going to be one of those
Rich
two.
clearly has not watched. Corey and I have been in like second. We were fighting for second for majority of this season.
Don't watch, don't care. Fuck this segment. All right, let's move on. We're going to talk YouTube. Joe, let's touch on YouTube. A lot of stuff happening on YouTube, man.
Yes, we have reached 500 subscribers. Everybody can give themselves a round of applause. We thank you guys so much for that. We're at 511 subscribers and counting on YouTube. You could go over to ESB, our ESB page on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like our videos. It really helps us out. And because we have hit 500 subscribers, we are going to do a giveaway next week.
Yes.
All right. So that will be episode number 137 on Monday, August 18th. There's a couple rules. You must be subscribed on YouTube. You must like episode number 137 next week. And you must leave a comment on episode number 137. The contest will end on Sunday, August 17th at midnight, or a second before midnight. Winners will be announced on Monday, August 18th, episode 137? 138. That was an error.
137. Today's 136. Next week's episode's 137.
I can't announce the winner until the following week.
What are you talking about? Yeah, that's the point. Next week's episode is number 137. This is episode number 136.
Right, but the winner will be announced on the following episode. 138.
No, because the video is available. Hold on now. Everybody, calm down, everybody. The episode is available now for you to enter the contents in, because all you have to do is find it on our YouTube page. But Joe, before we even get into that skinny, what are we even giving away to these people?
Okay. All right. We'll figure out that part of it.
Not that hard.
So we are giving away, we have a David Cone autograph baseball. I don't have it physically here, but we have a David Cone autograph baseball. It is authenticity. It's got a certificate of authenticity that comes with it. So it is an actual David Cone autograph. We want to choose somebody who is both the Met and Yankee. And so both fan bases will enjoy. So remember, leave a comment on episode number 137. Please, we'll hit the like button. And then we'll make sure that we find a winner out of that, and I will personally mail it to you. We'll contact you, and we'll mail it to you.
So we're not confused. That episode, if you go to YouTube, is there. It's this video right here. So if you go to that video, you like this video, you subscribe to us, you leave a comment for this video prior to next week, because we're gonna figure out this winner by the end of Sunday to be selected live next Monday. That's how you get entered into the contest. Did I miss anything?
It should have then been this video that you like, and we announced.
Why can't it be the episode next week?
Because it hasn't aired yet. It's your.
But you can still go and like and comment on it, Joe.
You're commenting on a video that doesn't exist yet.
Got it. Okay. So we'll redo it for Joe and Tom's sake.
Yes.
You have to like this video. You have to comment on this video, not now, because we're live right now. So after this is done, you leave a comment, use that hashtag ESB500, ESB500 for the subscribers.
I would say, guys, I think we should kind of huddle after the episode and talk about what we want to do, and then watch our socials, and we will tell you, just so we're all on the same page.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about it after the fact, but I thought I was trying to get ahead.
All right.
Everything.
Anyway.
Okay. Let's move forward. We'll talk. All righty. Let's get into the New York Strike Exchange. It's time to get into our Bulls and Bears of the week. And for the past 2 weeks of rankings, and we're going to start things off with our Bears, of course. Corey Favs, why don't you kick us off with the reveal of our Bear list?
Listen, and you look at this list. There's a lot of Bears to choose from, all right? So this was a tough list from that standpoint. At the very bottom there, number 5, Brandon Nimmo. It has been a really poor stretch for Mr. Brandon. 140 average, hit the 451 OPS, 21 Ks. That's very unlike him historically. So very rough stretch. And he was actually a Bull 2 weeks ago, so he dropped down to Bear number 5. Jazz Chisholm Jr. making the list. Not much better here. You look at his stats, the offense numbers outside of on base. slightly better on base, a lot less than Nimmo, but some of the mental stuff, there was the whole situation that we chatted about last week. So not a good 2 weeks for Jazz. Austin Wells, I mean, in most weeks, this probably would have got you overall bear of the week. But again, this was the last two-week period here. So a 129 average, 182 on base, 343 OPS, plus whatever other miscues he has, was only good enough for number 3. Devin Williams, how is he not number 1? That's because you got Frankie Montas right there, too. Devin Williams, absolutely miserable stretch. 8 earned runs in just 5 2/3 innings, 2 blown saves. Not good. And Frankie Montas, number 1, a nice 10 ERA, 13 earned runs over 11 innings. It's not good. The Mets got a Montas problem. They got a contract problem because he is definitely opting in next year. So obviously between Montas, Williams, Austin Wells, I mean, you could have picked either one of these players to be an overall bear. There could only be one, and it was Frankie this week.
Okay. Tom, as you look at our bear list here, what are your notes and takeaways?
So I think my main takeaway, and I posted it in the ESB NYY account, these Yankees and these Mets stink. Question for the group. How much money has Devin Williams cost himself this season? Because going into this season, he would have gotten a Edwin Diaz kind of contract. He would have gotten close to $100 million. He was one of the best relievers in baseball, had been one of the best relievers in baseball. If that didn't happen, he would get $100 million. What is he? He's going to be a free agent. And again, I don't give a shit about how much Devin Williams is going to make next year. It's not going to be from the Yankees, that's for sure. But how much money has he cost himself? It has to be $50-60 million.
He's going to have to sign a 1-year fluff contract. I mean,
that's true. But then there's going to be questions about any of these big market teams who might want to pay him. Well, hey, you did it in Milwaukee. That was nice. But then when you went to the bright lights, you got absolutely shelled.
He's not made for
the Dodgers or something. He'd have to again, not the point, but just it was kind of one of my thoughts of how this guy went from being one of the best relievers in baseball. I've said on the show many times. It's the most just the relievers fall off a cliff. And boy, it was a bad time for him to have that happen.
He lost himself a good chunk of change. I mean, obviously his camp's going to sell the fact that let's forget about 2025. Look at the first 5 years of his career. That's what you guys are going to be paying for, because we can get him back to that. My question actually is this: would it be malpractice for this Yankees team just said, screw it, and cut bait with Devin Williams right now? He's costing him way too many games, Tom, at this point. And they're not bringing him back. They're not going to offer him a qualifying offer. No. I'm afraid he might take the damn thing.
No, he won't be back next year under any circumstance.
I don't think there's no way you do that, because in a world where – because if you do that, someone's going to sign him immediately. And if there is something – now, the thing is, the other issue with Williams is the Yankees have a lot of issues developing – position players especially, but pitchers and then especially relievers, they've had such a good run as of late. So it's not even like, well, he went to that terrible reliever situation. He went to a place where guys they've found guys and turned. Look at Luke Weaver. Like, how could you say that this was anything other than Devin Williams, unless he's going to say that there was some sort of an injury? I think if they were to do something like that, DFA him, they'd be afraid. What if the Astros pick him up? And what if they just say, you know what, we actually did find the problem, and then all of a sudden you're playing the Astros in a wild card round, and Devin Williams becomes I don't think you're more likely just to let him sit in the middle relief right now and then not put him on a playoff roster.
You have Duvall and Bednar here. He's not going to be in New York next year, no matter what.
Right.
Period. That's it. But listen, I mean, Montas, if he's the only good that Montas is going to do right now is being sent to the Ukraine, because the rate he gives up bombs, he can actually fund the war effort. That's where he needs to go right now. So that's my thing. There could have been 15 people on this list. Let's be real.
100%.
There's Stanek could have been on this list. You could have justified Helsley. Jake Bird probably deserves to be on this list for getting himself demoted.
Reed.
I mean, there's a million guys who could have been on this list. Who is it? Cabanero for missing the ground ball in right field for the
Not
Yankees.
Cabanero, it's Caballero.
Whatever his name is, he could be on this list. There's a million guys who could be on this list. These are the 5.
All righty, let's get into the good here. Thomas, let's talk Bulls.
There are none. We're canceling the Bulls segment this week.
At least.
There's
not many.
So we got number 5. We got Pete Alonso. We got a Bull with a sub 250 average. So there we go. A sub 900 OPS.
Get over batting average at Dinosaur.
Listen, batting average. People who complain about batting average will then complain people don't hit with runners in scoring position, which is batting average. So shut up. But yeah, I mean, listen, his numbers are fine. They're not bull worthy. They're bull worthy this week, but no one would say that that's an amazing stretch for him. I say who is having a great stretch is Luke Weaver. It's great to see, especially after him, gaining the closer role, losing the closer role, getting hurt, and then all these additions that he has been so good in the bullpen yet again. He's in the game right now. He just cleaned up. Well, not really cleaned up Warren's mess. Warren gave up another homer. Then he came in and finished out the 7th. Glad to see Luke Weaver on this list, and would love to see him back on the Yankees next year. That's another issue. Juan Soto above him. He's had some good numbers. Again, not great, but he's there. He hit some homers. He made sure the Mets didn't get no hit, so that's something. Number 2, Giancarlo Stanton. Again, not better numbers here. I'd say these are kind of bull-worthy, lower bull-worthy numbers. He's been really the offense. And frankly, just for the fact that he's been willing to play the field and not look totally embarrassing while he's doing it. He had a good throw home the other day. He's been moving around a little bit in the outfield. Listen, he's not running balls down the gaps. But the fact that he was like, listen, I'll do it. I'll play the outfield so Judge can DH. I think it says a lot about his character, and if anything, that gets him on this list other than his numbers, down from 1 last week. And number 1, we have Will Warren on the mound tonight with throwing a gem through 6 2/3 with 2 earned runs. Might get him back on that bull list next week. But so far, last week, no wins, so that's thanks for him. But 11 innings, a sub 1 ERA, only give him 1 earned run, 9 Ks again. Some of those numbers aren't. The other part of the numbers aren't great, but in a week where most of the other Bulls were terrible, and that gets him number 1.
All righty. So there's your bull list. Good to see Warren up there. As I mentioned, he's been the Yankees' most dependable starter at this point over the past month. So to see him up there, even though it's a small sample size, only 2 starts in that time frame, 0.82 ERA. But if you looked at the choices of Bulls that we had, folks, I mean, like it was bad.
It's rough.
Pete at 244 the past 2 weeks, and he's a Bull. So
I had a couple of relievers. I had Brooks Raley in mind.
I actually had another Mets reliever in mind. I had Reed Garrett because I thought Reed looked pretty good for that.
I almost put Reed Garrett in.
So anyway, let's get into it now. It's time for the closing bell on this August the 11th. Where the hell is my bell? Did my bell just get erased? There it is. I knew I had my bell the whole time. All right, it's time for the closing bell. What was that?
I said Devin Williams was in charge of the bell, and he blew it.
Oh, there you go. See, I can't depend on him for anything.
I'm going to blame many things on Devin Williams the rest of the season.
Let's take a look at Devin Williams and what the rest of the field evaluate to. Soto now up to 139.43. Stanton up to 105. He was at 75 last week. Went from 1 to 2 on the Bull ranking. Jazz Chisholm, Brandon Nimmo, they're flashed in red because they were on the bear list, but they're still above the base amount of 50 ESB bucks. We move down the line. Jose Budo is highlighted in red because you can't even take him anymore. He plays for the Giants. You got to take him off this list. Pete Alonso, 49.5. So he's up to that amount. And even look, again, we got to take a couple of these guys off this list, I feel. Oswald Peraza has got to go. He's an angel now. But that's our evaluations. Austin Wells now down to 22.4. Devin Williams to 24 ESB bucks. Corey Favs, let's get to your side of the trading floor. You decided to do something historic last week. You wanted to invest in 4 players for the first time. And you invested you did great with Pete. You did great holding Soto. You laid an egg going after Devin Williams down to 24. Corey, what are you doing this week, pal?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's unfortunate, but it happens. I had a couple of spare bucks, decided to gamble it, threw in the slot machine, lost it, but it's all right. Still in a pretty good spot this week. I'll take it. Made a couple of bucks on Alonso, made some money on Soto. Let's go ahead. Let's look at the standings again. I just want to see between Alvarez and Williams. That's 49, and then I had how much else did I have in the bank there? 49
Oh,
plus. How much?
my apologies.
Plus
I didn't know if you were looking. Okay, here you go.
That's
Yeah.
$4. All right, I got
You
$53.
have four ESP bucks
53.
in the bank right now.
All right. So basically $53 to work with. Let's go ahead and take a look at that list. We'll take a look at the player options that we got. So I can go in the $50 range if I'd like. I'm not going to get any of these guys, but if I go here into the $50 range, and let me tell you, it's, oh my God.
After a bad week.
Could I buy 2 Pete Alonsos and just sell Alvarez Williams?
That is unfortunately an illegal move here. Can we start with who you're selling?
I'm definitely selling Williams. I want nothing to do with Devin Williams.
You
know what? All right, I'm going to do
28.
Yeah, that's 28. I'm going to sit on it. Let me get the cash, and I'm going to sit on these 3.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's
not
a fair move. All right. So 28 ESP bucks back into your bank, but we're still riding with Alonso, Alvarez, and Juan Soto. Joe, let's go over to you and see what you got.
Yeah, I had a nice week.
Look at you.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Now with Stanton back, with Judge back, Stanton's upside's got to be limited. Although he's having a nice game right now. That's the nervous is how long do I ride that Stanton train? I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold for one more week.
Good move
here. I'm gonna keep it rolling, and then we're gonna go from there.
Okay, so you're holding everybody, not
I'm
doing
holding
anything.
everybody, and we're gonna go one more week, one more round with this.
All right, Tom. My favorite part of the trading floor is what are you doing with Aaron Judge?
Have you guys seen the movie The Big Short? Very good movie about the 2008 financial crisis.
I don't care.
So there's a scene in that movie. I'm sure Joe has seen it at the very least. Very good movie. Steve Carell is arguing with a Wall Street investor, I believe, of Bear Stearns, and Steve Carell is arguing, listen, the crash is about to happen. There's all these signs that the crash could happen. And the other guy's like, I'm holding. I'd buy more if I can. And you know what? That's how I feel right now. Now, that guy ended up going broke. And I am very terrified of how Aaron Judge looks right now. But I am holding Aaron Judge. And I feel like I might come to regret that in 2 weeks.
Soon. Getting close.
But I'm going to hold him. I'm going to hold Aaron Judge. And God, please be okay and get better and start hitting, because I'm going to be that my children will be able to eat if he continues like this.
I want to throw this warning out to you. So if whatever reason let's just say he gets on the bear list and he's number 1, but you take off 141.75 cents. I mean, that's going to be a dramatic drop for you if it comes down to
that's going to cost you kids at college.
You know what? It really
ESB
could.
University.
But I just don't. You know what? I feel like I'm staring at a financial crisis, and I'm just like, you know what? Hit me. Do your worst to me, Aaron.
I don't like selling out the private DMs. We got one in here from Khore, who's going to join us shortly. He goes, "Can you do fractional shares?" Very good there, Khore. All right, let's get to my list here. Alvarez, Lindor, Soto. I went all Mets last time out. Again, it's been working well with Soto. Going to hold on to that. Going to hold on to Lindor as well. I'm just going to bank on the fact that he's just going to break out of this eventually. And luckily for me, he had another one of those players, guys, that we probably could have put up in that bear list as well. I mean, he's lucky there were even worse statistical offensive lines than him right now. So, but let me do some math here. If I want to sell Alvarez and add that to my current bank, that gives me 28.95. Does that give me anything to work with that I'm gonna like here? Not really. It all kind of stinks. But you know what? you know what? We're gonna go in. I feel like I'm gonna get so much crap by saying this because he did go deep in this game today. I'm gonna go Ben Rice. I'm gonna go Ben Rice in the spot. So I'm going to sell my Francisco Alvarez shares and put up Ben Rice, and that is gonna take me down to 395, I believe. Yeah, 395. So gonna go Ben Rice there. So that is your trading for, and we'll see you there in a couple of weeks. We're actually coming to the end almost of our New York Strike Exchange, so we're getting really close to tallying up all our valuations for season's end. All right, we're moving on from the NYSC. Let's get into X, and make sure to give us a follow on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, at ESB Podcast. Give us our subsidiaries a follow at ESB NYM, which is managed by Corey, Joe, and Keith. Their accounts are in the ticker below. Give the ESB NYY team a follow. You can give me a follow, Richie Rivera, Wospil. You got the cast and characters of a Bronx Take below in the ticker there. We did some refreshing of the space schedule, which started officially today. A Bronx Take is now Monday through Thursday. It's no longer on Friday anymore. Monday through Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern time on ESB NYY. There's exclusive segments every single day. We just threw in this new logo today for a Bronx Take. It was time. A lot of good Yankees conversation happening over at a Bronx Take. And subbing in for Friday, since we're now Monday through Thursday on this space, well, it used to be our post-show space. Now it's going Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern time, and that's ESB Extra Innings. So we're no longer doing the post-show space, but we will be live at the end of the week, and this will be open to both the Mets and Yankees Twitter communities. This will be a great time to review the past week, preview what's ahead, and also gives us a time to give us some channel announcements, take any of your feedback, things you want to see, things you don't want to see. That's your opportunity to kind of give us a live Google review on ESB. So that's our upcoming space schedule. Now, I did mention the fact, what do we got here?
Judgment.
RBI. I am feeling so
5-2
right
Yankees
now.
Here in the seventh inning.
That sold 13 players at the deadline.
Now, while there's going to be more announcements regarding the channel, there's also another space joining our schedule. Keith is going to be hosting a brand new space on ESB NYM. We'll also hear hopefully the voices of Corey and Joe from time to time, but Keith is going to be taking the lead on a new space called Queens Boulevard. That's going to be live Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on ESB NYM. Joe, Corey, very excited to see a Mets space join the schedule.
Yeah,
sure. Definitely.
Keith does a phenomenal job. I've joined a bunch of his Queens ones. He does a great job.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're really excited to have Keith here. It brings a different perspective than me and Corey, and he's going to help us out so much. So, yeah, we're going to promote like how we'll be on that first space when it goes live, and we'll hopefully have a nice big crowd in there and gain some attention on the ESB NYM page.
100%. Get both subsidiaries up in a big way. Keith did a great deep dive this past weekend on Friday ahead of the Brewers Mets series. Did a great job getting right into that. So already at work. We love it. And we're going to have more announcements regarding Keith and what he's going to be doing here with the channel. There's also going to be some Yankees business on this channel. We'll get more into it on Extra Innings. That's why we use the end of week for announcements this Friday at 2 p.m. So stay tuned. Because we have more announcements involving the channel. All righty, let's finish things up with our game of the week. And look at the standings. Joe killed it last week. He's up to 22 points. Tom at 17. Corey at 15. I'm at the bottom here in 14. So let's get into it. Today's game is a fun one. It's a fan favorite. It is, of course, Khore Kurriculum. And as always, the host of Khore Kurriculum, the only host of Khore Kurriculum, is our guy Khore. Khore, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Yo.
What's happening?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Not
Now,
much.
before we
Hanging in
get
there.
into your question for today, I gotta ask you, what's the vibe as a Mets fan, man? How you taking a step back and looking at what's going on right now as we're heading into the stretch run for the Mets season? Might be delayed.
It feels like we're in free fall. The offense is an unmitigated disaster, and there's no end in sight of when they're going to turn. They haven't shown any signs of turning it around. The starting pitching has been a disaster all year. I think watching the Brewer series, right? Like, thought you were finally going to get another a six plus inning performance from Kodai Senga. First one that isn't named David Peterson in 2 months, and then all of a sudden he implodes in the 5th inning.
Mm-hmm.
So it just feels like anything that can go wrong is going wrong. The good news is it's all like everyone like on the team is capable of turning it around. It's just a matter if they have to turn it around. So just hope something changes in the next week or so and they just start playing better.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see where we're at by the next time we do Khore Kurriculum, which will already be at the season's end. I mean, it's been such a this year has flown by. It's crazy. But Khore, you have a question for us with a little bit of a caveat because for the first time you got a question with an extra credit point available as well. So let's take a look at your question for today.
Yep. So August 5th, Shea Langoliers collected 15 total bases out of the leadoff spot for the Athletics. That was the third most in MLB history behind what 2 players?
Okay. So I guess before we get into extra credit, let's at least answer the initial question here.
15 is the most for catcher out of the leadoff position. So another catcher out of the leadoff position?
No, that's extra credit.
The
first part
extra
does have to
credit's
be a
a separate
catcher, right?
question.
Right. Exactly. Wait.
I'm going
So
to
It
say
doesn't
Otani.
need to be a catcher. The first
Yeah, I
one
was gonna say
can be
that.
I'm going to say Otani.
Otani is a correct answer. He did it in the 50-50 game last year.
Look at you, Corey.
Nice.
All right.
Okay.
So Corey's got one.
So the next one's a catcher, you're saying?
No, there's 2 players in the first. I just said
The next one is
Soriano.
not a catcher. There's 2 players. It is not Soriano.
Okay.
Okay. For Tom.
He's a former Yankee, though.
I was about to fire off a different guess, so thank you.
Ellsbury? Jacoby Ellsbury?
Not Ellsbury.
Hmm.
I would say it was a blip on the radar as a Yankee. He was much more well-known playing for a different team.
15 total bases out of
Ichiro.
Ricky Henderson.
No, it's both of those.
Okay.
Known for being another team.
Johnny Damon.
That's a good guess.
Not Damon.
The delay, the cord delay is
The
killing
other
me.
team was a National League team.
The other team was a National League team. Okay.
Wait a second.
Even Drew.
No.
I don't think so. He'd be more known as a Red Sox.
Matt Carpenter.
Mm.
It is Matt Carpenter.
Oh, Joe again. Damn.
Didn't he have like a 2 or 3 home run game at like the second game he was a Yankee?
Jeez.
I don't think he did it as a leadoff hitter.
I don't know if he.
Yeah, but it wasn't that game. He did
He
it.
did it as a
He did it in 2018 with the Cardinals.
Yeah. All right. So, Core, your extra credit question to the Shea Hig kid.
So we get 3 strikes again?
Yeah.
Yep. So 15 total bases is the most. Yeah. So 15 total
Schwarber.
bases is the most for a catcher out of the leadoff position since which other catcher? Not Schwarber.
Jason Kendall.
I was gonna say that.
Good guess.
Not Kendall.
Not Kendall.
I need to sit for a second now.
Out of the leadoff spot.
Leadoff catcher.
JT Realmuto.
Not Real Muto.
Mm.
Did this in 2019.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say how obscure is this player? Because my other guy was not gonna be it. Then
No, he's still active.
Will Smith.
Give him bat leadoff.
Not Will Smith.
All that catchers do. Did in
Yeah, this
2019.
guy actually did play for the Dodgers that year, but he did it with the Rays. Yeah, 2019.
I guess. But he did it. He played Zanino. He did it.
Travis Darno.
Not Zanino.
I'm out.
Travis Darno. That's correct.
Jeez. Joe with a second point. Again, just padding the damn lead.
The Dodgers and Rays gave it away.
Oh, my
There's
God.
only limited amount of guys.
I forgot he played for the Rays.
Yeah, I that was correct in the same season.
Joe now up to 24 points. Corey.
He got
pulling a
let
little
go
closer.
by the Mets that year. He went to the Dodgers for like a game, and then the Rays.
I was ready for a Diona Navarro guess, but I think he was out of baseball at that point. But that's all I had. All righty. Well, that's your core curriculum. Core, always love the questions, always hard hitting, always difficult. And we'll see you in about a month's time. And hopefully by that time, these teams are, or at least your team, for your sake, is in much better shape. Delay.
Thanks, guys.
All righty. Take care, Core. Have a good one. And that is core curriculum. I know we had a little bit of a server delay there, but all good. 3 more points out of core curriculum to the boys. And it's not looking good for me in the games, fellas. It's not looking good for me in the games. All righty. Well, let's start to end this thing. Somehow, some way we got through all that. Oh, and by the way, before we let go, Core, make sure to give him a follow at _core on Instagram, at @core_ on X. That is core curriculum. All right. Before we call it a show, we were having a backstage producers meeting in the middle of our show to figure out what we were doing for the contest for sure, just so we didn't confuse the crowd here. So officially what we're going to do is we're going to follow these rules as they are. So next week, make sure you're subscribed. But like and leave a comment for episode number 137. It cannot be a live comment during the live show. And what we'll do is we will choose the winner based on what activities done for that episode number 137. We will choose the winner on the following week's episode for number 138. Do we have that correct now? Are we all?
Yes.
We all squared away. Okay.
Yes. You will have the whole week to comment on the video and like the video. And we will announce it on 138, which should be the 25th of August.
Correct. So this graphic will change a little bit, but it will still be that episode number 137 is when we will execute the contest. 138 will be when we actually select the winner. Okay, now we all have it squared away. And that is it for Empire State of Baseball. Number 136 in the books. Make sure to join us next week. It is... of course, another edition of ESB. We're going to return an old segment on the way up. It's been a while since we did a deep dive into our prospects, so we will do that next week on the show. We'll see where our farm systems are, following the trade deadline. We'll get into that next week. That's episode number 137 on August the 18th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, let's take it around the room for last licks and call it a show. Tom, to you, Joe, and then Corey for the wrap. Everybody, thank you very much. 168 in the building, and also recently hit the 7.5K mark on Instagram. So shout out to all you followers out there on Instagram. Tom.
So if Luke Weaver can hold this down the 8th and hand the ball to Bednar in the 9th, and the Yankees can win. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I haven't said it in a while.
Win?
Yeah,
Never heard of it. Joe.
French, I think.
I'm happy that I don't have to watch the Mets tonight.
And I'm happy football's around the corner because if this keeps up, we're not going to have much more baseball left to go. But hopefully they turn around.
From a Jets fan.
I just love the pain. Give me all the pain. We had a reel about pain, and I love it. Well, that's going to wrap up tonight's show. Hope everyone has a great week. Hope you all have a great life. If you're a Met and Yankee fan, go enjoy life. See you next time. Take care.